We're going to cover case 1 of this partial fraction decomposition. Now we call this case 1 because it is of this form, x squared plus 2. Now you don't want to get tied down on the two cases we're going to cover, but case 1 is just merely a case only because if you look at this partial fraction, you want a factor to look like x minus 2, x plus 5, something of that form, not really x squared plus 2. Now the problem with this one is that it's missing the bx form. So traditionally you'll see a polynomial like this, and as a result we're missing this, and this causes this partial fraction to be a unique case. So let's get started, keep things simple here. The first step is to actually break this down into smaller fractions, right? That's the goal of all this. And the idea is to solve for whatever this b and a and c is. Now that we've broken it down, you want to make sure that this special little binomial here is under the bx plus c part. The normal x minus 2 is going to be under a simple just letter, in this case a, and that's the key, right? That's the key to this whole situation. The next thing you want to do is consider finding the GCF. So in this case, let's cut to the chase, and I'm going to let you know that the best thing you could do is write the entire denominator of the equation or the fraction you have on the left-hand side. So I literally just picked it off of this. If you notice, you want to make sure you cover everything though, right? So you'll find that this part is here and this part is right there. So we're good. There's nothing to add to this GCF. Now the following step is to really take this GCF and multiply it to all the sides or all the terms here, you know, and then it'll cancel something out. So the best way to do this is just do it visually. You wrote the GCF down. There's no need to keep writing it down. That'd be too much work, and it'll take you forever to finish the problem. So here we go. So I take a look at this and I ask myself, if I multiply it right here, what does it cancel out? It cancels out this fraction with, this term with this term, and then this binomial with this binomial. So as a result, we're left with 6x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals, and if I multiply this to this part right here, this fraction, right, so I want to multiply it right there, that's where it would be, it just cancels out these two. So all I'm left with is the a and the x squared plus 2. Okay, and the last one, same thing, and if you notice, it will cancel out this x squared plus 2 with this one, and I'll be left with this bx plus c, and then this right here. Anytime you write two terms, right, this one has two terms, it has bx plus c, make sure that you write it in parentheses, because when you distribute, that's where people mess up, and you don't want to do that. It's be a simple mistake to make. So now that we did this, in this particular case, what you really want to do to start solving this is let x equal something, right? Let x equal whatever you want it to be in order to solve for this. But the problem here is, in order to just jump into letting x equal a number and not writing a system of equations over here, is the fact that these two right here are together. We really want them separate, like we had this one over here. And because of that, we actually have to do system of equations to keep things simple. So with that being said, the next best step to do here is to go ahead and just rewrite it. But in this case, we're just going to start distributing things here. So this is what we should end up with. Now I'm distributing over here, right? All right, I'm doing that to both terms. Minus 2bx plus cx minus 2c. Cool. And just a quick recap here. The way we've covered this in class is I'm going to set up my little box over here of system of equations. It's probably bigger than I needed, but it's okay. Just a quick reminder that all you want are the coefficients, and if you notice the ones that are underlined, all have x squared, so they all go together. So over here, I'm going to write a plus b equals 6, right? Next, we have this bx and then this cx over here, and it is paired up with the with the negative 2 over here. So just to write it, it's going to be negative 2b, right? We just want the numbers, no x's, plus c equals negative 2. And the last one is going to be 2a minus 2c equals negative 8. And there we go. Now, the only reason we needed the second equation here is to set up the system of equations down here, and nothing else. So now we're actually going to shoot back over to this one over here, the one right on top, and now your goal is to isolate the easiest variable. And just to jump to the solution here, this is going to be the easiest one to solve for. So we actually want to let x equal 2, so that 2 minus 2 over here gives us 0, and it cancels this whole thing out. So let's go. Let x equal, I was going to write negative 2. Okay, and so with that being said, already start plugging stuff in and go from there. So here we're going to have 6 times 2 squared minus 2 times 2 minus 8 equals a times 2 squared plus 2. Be careful when you're plugging it in. Sometimes you need a parentheses in case there's a negative, but we're okay right now. Now I'm going to put plus 0. Why am I going to put plus 0? Because visually in my mind, I plugged in a 2 here, right, up right on top, and then 2 minus 2 gave me 0, okay? And this whole thing, because of that, just becomes 0. So I put 0 just to remind me of that, but I'm not going to do all the math. It'd be a waste of time. So now if we proceed on doing the math a little bit more down here, okay, simplifying, that's going to be a6, right, because 2 squared plus 2 is 6. I don't like that it's written like that. I'll rewrite it right now, but this ultimately becomes 12 is equal to 6a. Okay, then if you divide 6 to both sides, then that means that a is equal to 2. Okay. After this, you're pretty much close to the finish line. All you have to do is use the system of equations. That's why they're there, to solve for the remaining. So now I'm going to take a, plug it into equation 1 here at the top, and then we'll just call that 2 and 3. And then we'll have 2 plus b equals 6, and if you can see, b is going to equal 4. And we're almost done there. And then lastly, you can use equation 2 and 3 to figure out that c should be equal to, let's see, negative 2 times 4, that's negative 8, added to the other side should be 6. So again, feel free to plug in a or b to equation 2 or 3, and you'll find that c should be 6. Now to finally write this answer, you really need the top part over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just extend it over here. So a was 2, so it's going to be 2 over x minus 2 plus, and then b was 4, so 4x plus 6 all over x squared plus 2, and then boom, you're done. To keep things short, I'm going to go ahead and do case 2 on a separate video, but this is all you have to do for case 1. Please rewrite this problem and try it again, and each time that you do it, make sure that you're not pulling it off of memorization, but rather looking at the problem and saying, oh, I see why I'm doing this next step. And I hope this helps.